Bugs crashing your pack's party? Whether they've got paws or sneakers, your pack deserves a home that's protected from pests. That's where Wondercide comes in. Plant-powered protection made with steam-distilled natural essential oils that actually work. It kills and repels fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, and ants without questionable ingredients or overpowering smells. Safe to use around kids and pets when used as directed. Lab-proven to work fast. And proudly made in the USA. We offer sprays for pets, people, homes, and yards. Plus, spot-on treatments, collars, and even shampoos. Whatever your pack needs, we've got it covered. Founded by a pet parent looking for a better way to protect her dog Luna, Wondercide's now protected over 21 million lives and counting. You might have even seen us on Shark Tank. Go to Wondercide.com and use code WONDER20 for 20% off your first order. That's WONDER20 at Wondercide.com. Wondercide. Protect your pack with plant-powered Wondercide today.
Hello, and welcome to the Intel Brief. Today is Wednesday, September the 10th. I'm your host, Daniel, and today we're going to talk about soldiers are patrolling the streets of Nepal's capital after 2 days of deadly protests. Israel attacks Hamas leaders in Qatar, and Trump says he's very unhappy about it. And Poland has scrambled jets after unprecedented violations of their airspace by Russian drones. So firstly, soldiers are patrolling the streets of Kathmandu on Wednesday amid an indefinite curfew in Nepal's capital following 2 days of deadly anti-graft protests that prompted the Prime Minister to resign. The worst upheaval in decades in the poor Himalayan nation was sparked by a social media ban unveiled last week, but rolled back after 19 people died on Monday as police fired tear gas and rubber bullets into crowd control. So what? So my assessment yesterday was very wrong. I thought that if the government made it clear that they were going to hold the police accountable for the deaths on Monday, that the protests would relax or simmer down a bit. That obviously didn't happen, and it went quite the polar opposite. Pretty insanely, to be honest. I didn't share the videos because there were some pretty graphic ones going about, but there was videos of some of the ministers being beaten, their houses were invaded. The Prime Minister's wife has died when they set the parliament on fire or his house on fire. It's pretty crazy stuff, and stuff that seems unlikely that you're going to come back from pretty easily. While the army couldn't possibly step in during the hours of darkness to employ this curfew, it seems unlikely that they'll be able to do it during the day, which could lead to more violent protests today. There's already talk about, who might be the next leader of the country, and I think that we might see some pretty radical change here, as the country is pretty angry from from what I can see. I need to talk to. I've had DMs from a bunch of people from Nepal today, or overnight, after I posted the video of the dudes with the guns. That went pretty viral. I'll chat to them and see what they're saying, see how things are on the ground. But yeah, interesting stuff. And next, Israel attempted to kill the political leaders of Hamas with an airstrike in Qatar on Tuesday, escalating its military action in the Middle East with what the US described as a unilateral attack that does not advance American or Israeli interests. US President Donald Trump said he's very unhappy about the attack, about every aspect of the airstrike, and will be giving a full statement on Wednesday. So what? I think it's pretty unlikely that Israel did this without at least some blessing of the US. An indicator of this is that there is US air defense systems in Qatar, and they did nothing to try and intercept these munitions. So to some degree, I think the US was aware. I think it's possible that Trump is just trying to act like this so that he can continue his possibility of getting a Nobel Peace Prize. But yeah, I think to some degree he probably needed to know. Whether it actually killed the leaders, that is unclear. I would have thought that if they weren't killed, that they would have released a video pretty sharply to, show that they weren't dead. Also, that building that they had got pretty smashed. So if the leaders were in that building, it seems likely that they were eliminated. However, Hamas claims that they're not and that they're still alive. So that's a bit of a wait and see. But yeah, it seems like the peace negotiations between Hamas and Israel are dead in the water now. And Israel has made it clear that they see one path to victory here. So yeah, no peace in the Middle East anytime soon. And lastly, Russia has carried out an unprecedented violation of Poland's airspace, according to Warsaw's military command. In a statement on X, the operational command of the Polish armed forces said that it detected drones in its airspace as a result of a Russian attack on Ukraine. Earlier, the command said that it had scrambled its own and NATO allied air defences, marking the first time in the war that Poland had directly engaged with Russian assets in the airspace. It then said Warsaw's military operation was ongoing and urged people to stay home, naming in certain regions in eastern Poland. The Polish police force said that officers found a damaged drone in an eastern village at around 5:30 a.m. UK time. So what? This isn't the first time that drones have passed over into Polish airspace. However, this is the first time that Poland has actually engaged them and shot them down. So a pretty big step up. While it's possible that Russia was just trying to probe NATO's air defense and see how they reacted, it's also possible that these drones were just lost due to poor communication. Yeah. So if they were trying to probe NATO's air defense, I think this is a pretty good response, as it shows that NATO can identify and destroy drones passing into its airspace pretty quickly. However, where it goes from here kind of is uncertain. So Poland said it's going to hold a meeting at 8 a.m. local time, so in about an hour, to discuss what they want to do. But it doesn't seem like an Article 5 style response. But I think there'll be a lot of harsh words said today, and then this will kind of simmer down, and we'll go back to normal. But yeah, I don't know. Poland's pretty angry, and Poland is already chomping at the bit to get further involved in Ukraine. So they could be pretty pushy and to see what they can get out of this. But yeah, seems wild. Hopefully we don't have war today. That would be a worst case scenario. But anyway, that's been your Intel Brief. I've been your host, Daniel, and I'll see you again tomorrow. See you.